right, people, it's time to get working, time to get polishing. I cheated a little bit on you yesterday. I was tired of the cameras, frickin' Sony. Sonys are gone.
If you want to buy a Sony A7 III, let me know. I'm gonna have 2 of them and a bunch of extra accessories to go on these things. So I bought a can of
C200, so I'm excited about that until I hate that and buy something else. Anyway, polishing today. So the good news is, for me, is I've already done the test spot. Bad news is you don't get to see it. The other bad news is this car, I'm gonna have to draw the line somewhere. So for those of you who believe I'm a charlatan, this is gonna help add some extra fuel for your fury. I'm just gonna move some polish around on this thing and call it a day. You know, it's silver, the clear is hard as a rock. I'm not gonna chase scratches on this. But in order to get anything done, I'm gonna have to bring out the sledgehammer, which is 101. I used various pads and tried the wool versus microfiber. I'm getting some fresh microfibers out, and I'm just gonna move some polish around, close my eyes, and whatever I get, I get. I'm just not gonna chase on this thing. It's gonna look fantastic when I'm done, but like on the trunk area, I can see some little deeper scratches, and there's a billion of them. From whatever probably car wash this thing has gone through, I'm just not gonna chase every single one of them. We're gonna get it to say 85, 90%. And because the car's silver, you can't see it. And I mean, I'm like looking at, the crazy lighting in here, and I'm trying to look from every angle possible just to even see them. And I wouldn't even be able to show them to you on camera anyway. So they'll be virtually invisible. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna chase them. We're gonna move some polish around, make 3 or 4 passes, and get the job done. So here's a couple of essentials for this project. 1, silver paint. I can't turn the lights off in here because people are packing and shipping. So I guess I could come here after hours, but the way to polish silver would be and I made a post on Instagram saying I can't see anything. I understand. The way to do this would be turn all the lights off and use yellow. So on silvers and things like that, we want to use a like 2700 color temp, 2700K color temp is just easier to see. And so the cool thing about the new Scan Grip stuff, this is the Sun Match 3, and this is the Color Match, whatever you call the big one, the fancy one, Pen Light. We can switch color temps. So this is, I think this goes 3000 up to 4500. So, the bluer light on the bluish silver paint doesn't really help very much. So we're doing yellow or yellower so that we can see stuff. So these are gonna be probably the 2 primary lights I'm using. The Phoenix light, I think, is like 6000K. So it's gonna be too bright and too blue to really be of any help. The other thing I'm gonna be using in the project here, I'm gonna be hopefully working. Check this out. This is my new version. Michael Verne made for me from Milspec. This is cord lock or locking cord or pro lock cord in black. And so the goal at some point would be to take and have these in the Cox hose reels, or not hose, but power cord reels, to be able to take these power cords, put them in Cox reels, and then have like the ultimate scenario. We'll see. I've got to fly out to Phoenix to meet with Cox. I'm sure I'll meet with them also, and at SEMA, and so I'll be working on that. But for now, what I'm going to do is plug my ProLock power cord into, and I hate all this kind of crap. I'm going to plug this into my Cox hose reel, which kind of defeats the purpose. But I got to take off all the warnings. But it's pretty cool. We've got these things dialed in. So I got to debadge this sucker. Just snip these off of here. I need to buy like 10 of these. Don't do this at home, children. And I need some Tarex there. So we'll have this. Another thing, don't try at home. I shortened the power cord down to 8 or 9 feet, 10 feet maybe, so that I don't have a 25-foot or 30-foot cord, or maybe I think it's like 35 feet or something insane on my Rupes polisher. So this thing's cool in that, you know, I could plug it anywhere, but I'm probably just gonna plug it here. And you get a indicator light. This is a 12 gauge cord. I probably should just not worry about having the locking cord, but I gotta try out my cord. Dang, this thing's stout, super thick. So I'll primarily on this car be using the LHR 15 and also using, so the cool thing is now it's locked in. I'll also be using the LHR 75 pneumatic with my Jenny compressor, and I've got the Air Rev dryer hooked up and running. So I want some new fresh pads. My pads are old and beat up, so I stopped cheaping out and went over to the shelf and grabbed some fresh 5-inch microfiber cutting pads and some fresh 3-inch pads. We'll probably need 6 or 8 for the whole car, so I'll probably have to go grab a couple more. I don't know why I get stingy when I'm buying these at cost, and I have no problem ordering them off Amazon, but when I have to go take them off my own shelves, I don't know, the business guy starts to kick in, and I start to get cheap on myself. All right, so let me go throw this stuff in the garbage. So last night when I was doing the trunk, I was ending up with dust everywhere. So I'm gonna have to toughen up and walk outside every time to blow out my pad, because I was getting, you know, M101. One of the problems with using this is the solvent-based polish. It dries out quicker. One thing I may do is grab some 210 and slop it on my pads as well. And that's a trick I learned from Andy Ward and Jason Kilmer about using, adding some lubrication to the 110 or 101 so that I can end up with a little bit longer working times, because this stuff dusts like crazy. But I find that this is the best polish for the job when you need a sledgehammer. So the only problem is we're gonna end up with dust everywhere. So I ran the jet filtration system all night. And so we ended up pulling a lot of the junk out of the air, because every time I blew out a pad, it made a plume of dust everywhere, even blowing into a trash can, wetted down, which is a trick I stole from Jim White. And so I'm gonna be blowing the pads out outside. So there's some 3-inch, and we'll go 5-inch on the magical Mark III, LHR 15 Mark III. I don't have this washer modded, so you may see it stall. I've gotten better. I don't need a washer mod as much as I used to when I was a little greener on Rupes polishers, but notice I've got a line to make sure we're spinning. All right, let me fill up my bottle of eraser. I've got to get another round of Press-All bottles here, because I've got a hodgepodge of crap here at HQ. I like to have everything organized and uniform. So I've got all different types of bottles and sprayers and this random crap that I need to, or want to get organized. Always mix your chemicals. You know, this is one of the bottles when they had a light black tint. Now they're much darker black tinted. And this is the old logo. I love Eraser. It's one of my favorite products on earth. You can use it for anything. Glass, prep, general cleaning, cleaning your counters, whatever. It's basically isopropyl alcohol with some color and scent and some other magical voodoo science. All right, so a number of people were saying, did you wash the car after you drove it from your wash bay? And the answer is absolutely not. It's a mile. And so what I'm doing is just wiping it down prior to polishing, which I would have needed to do anyway here at HQ because we got box dust from packaging stuff all day anyway. Even with the air filtration system, It's still pretty dusty here. So I'm gonna do a nice light wipe down, and then it's hammer down on this sucker. I've got a kamikaze hood prop on here that I'm gonna be testing out using creatures for polish removal, because I'm gonna be possibly making a transition in my microfiber package, but I want to be sure that I like these as much as I think I will for polish removal. Let's roll. So, I don't know if you can see this. There's a gnarly scratch right here. Let me see this here. It's the simple trick of deciding whether you're going to remove a scratch or not. If you can feel it with your fingernail, it's not coming out. You're gonna have to, in order to level a scratch, and there's a V. And so in order to get rid of the scratch, we've gotta go all the way down to the point of the V. Well, the V, the lowest point is all the way through. If you can feel it, you can see it. But it's gonna disappear a little bit because we're going to clean out a lot of the dirt. For this car, I'm gonna break this up into sections. So this will be a section, 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 and this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And then we'll kind of overlap. We want to be careful on these peaks because we don't want to blow through. There'll be generally less paint here than there will here. So we just want to be careful with these. It's not a V peak. It's a rounded peak, so we don't have to be super careful, but just want to be mindful of these peaks in the hood. But this will be a nice way to break it up. And your tendency is to just do large areas, but when we're doing this refining and defect removal, scratch removal, and then getting rid of a lot of the junk, we want to use care and work smaller areas. So compounds more than anything. I wish I needed to buy some of the Meguiar's self-cleaning bottles for this application. I wasn't planning on using this, but we need to, first I need to get something to clean this thing out. But we want to make sure that we get full coverage on the pad. Got some of that. So again, I don't know. I don't really know what combination to use of 205 or 210. So the concept that Andy uses, Andy Ward, Proficient X, is that he'll add some 205 to 101 in order to aid in lubrication. So, I don't know, I'm probably just gonna roll the 101 and call it a day. I used the wrong side of the spreader. So we're gonna make sure we get some decent coverage here. I don't wanna load this up too much. I find that when I'm using the solvent-based polish, you know, if I was gonna use this all the time, I'd probably be using a respirator. This stuff is a lot nastier than your normal polish. You can just smell it. It smells like death in a bottle. Also smells like you're getting some work done. So with microfiber, we want to get it in all the fibers here. So I'm doing a little extra effort to get the pad primed and ready to go. And then I'm going to walk my butt out there every single time and blow the thing out, which is going to be really annoying. I should switch my power cord over to the other one on the other corner of the car so I can just walk across the room. Okay, here we go. Got my pad primed. Put a couple of dots on this with this really annoying giant bottle. Wasn't prepared because I wasn't planning on using this. And we're gonna work this section here. This is why you need a Pro Lock, so you can yank on your power cord. So we're gonna go speed 2, spread it around. Speed 4, and Oh boy. It's hard to believe a car with 15,000 miles can be this jacked up right here. So those scratches, we're clearly not removing them, but we're able to at least clean the dirt out of it. I mean, I just don't want to sit there and hammer on it forever. So when I say I'm just moving polish around, I mean, we're already starting to heat the panel up. Hopefully, you know, cleaning out those scratches and those edges, they become less, not hopefully, but actually, they become a lot less visible. But there's a lot of these, like, I just don't know what, I bet you a lot of these are from using a brush. So they're from using a brush with a car wash. That's where I'm betting a lot of these are coming from. So now I gotta take my rear end and walk all the way out there and blow this thing out every single time. What a mess. I almost want to put a washer on this just for the blowout. I need a Tornador without the washer mod. This doesn't spin. I don't have a Tornador. Shoot. I'm unprepared. I'm unprepared for professional level detailing. 2 dots. Goes to show you, no matter how much crap you have, you're always missing something. This is why I like Jescar so much. I can blow that out no problem in the room. I'm just trying to keep the pad right up to the edge so I can get all the scratches off the edge as well. And I'll kind of roll it over quickly so I don't blow through. Just moving some polish around. Let's check, let's see what kind of temps we're getting here. It's not super hot, but it's not cool. I got this fancy fluke thing, I might as well use it. Let's do another section. I guess there's no reason to blow it into a garbage can. Just blow it out into the driveway. So like I said, if this is a black, or if it was a dark blue or a red or something car, I'd be inspecting this all the time. This is why I said this will give people some ammunition. This is why I also wanted the Pro Locks. I can pull this cord around, but they're just, I'm not gonna get all these scratches out on this car. It's gonna look good enough. Deal with it. That's what I'm doing. I'm dealing with it. I've come to grips with it. So the working time on this is, so we're at 106, 107 versus 84. So the room temp is, the paint is about 78 degrees. So you can see the heat that I'm developing from that solvent-based polish. So we're swelling the paint. So this is, this isn't hard. You're still just moving polish around, but you do need to be a little bit more wary. You could burn the paint a lot quicker, a lot easier with this type of polish. Even with a dual action polisher. All right, so let's, a 3-inch is gonna be better for this over here. So since we're kind of working through this here, we'll show you the 3-inch. It's probably a little too much polish. So when I'm working a smaller area like this, especially this will be a little bit higher speed, I just need to be careful. I don't want to make quite as many or as slow of passes. I'm going to move the polisher around a little bit quicker than I normally would. This will build up heat really quickly. What we got? Well, I guess I really didn't. I could probably hold that there a lot longer. I didn't develop as much heat, only about 88 degrees. So I guess that 3-inch, probably I'm not developing as much heat because I'm not using as much pressure. I'm gonna get lazy on you and do another quick little pass here. Finish up that little section. Use a little less polish. Just finish this off here. That's interesting though. I thought this would have built up more heat. I guess because I'm using less pressure. So again, where I'm cheating here, where the charlatan part comes in, is I'm not even going to inspect it. I don't want to know. So I'm using a sledgehammer, I'm using a pretty aggressive polish in order to do any kind of decent cutting on this surface. And I'm just gonna walk away. I'm not getting the light out, I'm not gonna inspect, I'm not gonna chase. I'm just gonna move the polish around, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna come back and I'm going to use Perfect Finish, and we're gonna call it a day. Whereas if this was a different color, I'd be looking, chasing, hitting. You've seen me do that before, chase little spots. This clear is so darn hard that a lot of these spots, like I have to sit there and grind away forever. And this is where I really could have used the paint depth gauge. That's on my list of things to get, would be a depth gauge. And I'm gonna chase that here soon. You know me, I don't want just a depth gauge, I want like world class. So anyway, let's keep rolling. Let me blow out my pad and keep moving. It's gonna be a long day. Something tells me it's gonna take me about 3 weeks to polish this thing. I find myself using more of the M101 than I do other polishes. I also find myself never putting it on 2 to spread around. I just put it on and go. So normally, you know, if you weren't doing this on camera, you'd want to polish from out or from inside out, so that I'm not hitting the areas I just polished, but for the sake of the video, I'm doing it backwards. Because we probably will shut the video down by the time I get to that middle section there. Yeah, but the torque from the electric is developing a whole lot more heat than the pneumatic. You want to be careful not to dig into this. So I'm kind of lifting up a little bit as I get to the edge and then flattening it out. One more pass. Oh yeah. The torque of the Mark III combined with this solvent-based polish creates some heat. The temper we get in there. Yeah. I think as long as we stay under 120, we're usually in pretty good shape. Man, there's a lot of water spots there. I wonder if those are superficial or if we're gonna have to deal with that. We're certainly gonna swallow the paint with this heat. I think I'm gonna unplug this every time. So I might ditch my Pro Lock. This is gonna be easier. I'm just gonna keep on moving infinitely. So remember, this hand is just a guide hand. I have a tendency to move with this hand, but then what happens is my pad comes up. So all of the work is really doing on my left hand. This is just kind of steering a little bit. At least that's how I figured out finally how to stop lifting the pad. Gosh, the Mark III is so smooth. Generating some heat. So if we grab another polish, we wouldn't generate nearly as much heat as we are here. I don't know. We're gonna go through the whole car and use creatures to remove the polish, and we'll see. I tend to prefer pretty much all applications. I prefer the lower pile side. I hope those water spots are removed without me having to do anything extra. There's some spotting here.
Don't look, you can't see me, don't look.
Yeah. That's the beauty of silver, man. Shine it up and that's all that matters. I could probably skip this and just do a perfect finish and call it a day. And my garage would be a lot cleaner. We're gonna do one panel a day. So you're gonna get 37 episodes of me polishing. That's what we're gonna get. Dang, this car's big, man. I'm gonna have to split this. Do half and half. You know what we should do? We should host a OG. Everybody should have to come learn how to polish from the whole crew. Everybody here. Ted, my mom, get my mom on a polisher over here. How our water spots look. I think it may have just been superficial from me just using the washer fluid. Remember when we were emptying the tank? I hope. Because those things tend to come back. Okay, so you see what I'm gonna be doing here for the next probably 20 hours. It's walking outside, blowing out the pad, walking back inside, polishing a section and doing it one section at a time. I'm gonna finish up the hood here. And then what we'll probably do, we'll call this an episode of just basic compounding with M101. Couple of tips. Know that you need to be in a well-ventilated area. This stuff is pungent. Like when you walk outside and walk back in, you can really smell it. You also need to manage dust. We're gonna have polished dust all over the place. The reason why I'm using this polish is I feel like I need something more aggressive. We probably could get away with something like Sonax Cut Max or something like that. I don't have that here. I've used it in the past, but I think that this is the best polish for the job. I used probably, let's see, I used Scholl's S3 Gold. I used Just Car Correction Compound. I tried 110, and I found that 101 with a microfiber cutting pad. I also used the wool cutting pad. When I was messing with the trunk, I found that this did the best job, finished down relatively nicely in setting us up for Sonax Perfect Finish. Of course, I'll have a video on that as we do the finishing stuff on the car, but I think that this is the process. I think you want to walk away with 101, blow out the pad, and you need to blow it out every single time. But I'll come back to you and we'll do some more compounding. We'll do another episode of more compounding and some more intricate areas where I get out the nano and I use the 3-inch more. And we'll probably do maybe the front bumper and some of the fenders and get you a little more footage of this. But let's call this an episode because this is all I'm going to get to today, because the good news is I've got to take the black wheels to get mounted and balanced here in about 20 minutes. I got to head out and I got to go to my psychologist to stay sane. So in full transparency. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode, episode 4. Episode 5 will be more compounding, and then 6, 8, 9, 10, 20, we'll see how far this goes. But this car is going to take a lot of work to get it to where I want it to be. Even though we're just moving around some polish, this is going to transform the car and really make it look great and set us up for finishing and coating. So thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. Hopefully a next episode will be on my new camera. It'll be here in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. What kind of a-hole would wrap his power cords that way? Oh my gosh, it's ruined. You stupid. Oh, I can hear. My ears popped. Oh, thank the Lord. You're gonna have to edit out lots of mucus today, Bryce.
you.